Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we are going to be giving our review for Sick, the Kevin Williamson written film from I think it was the producers of Megan, I believe.
Producers of Megan.
Been wanting to check this out since it dropped. Been having to put it off for a week
About
so.
A week or so, because my head,
And finally got around to watching it today. And we definitely were on the opposite ends with this movie. Sort of surprisingly, sort of not surprisingly. I'll let you go first since you were on the bottom end of this movie.
I was just going to comment on when you start talking.
Oh, you want to comment on me?
Yeah.
So basically, this is set at the beginning of the pandemic in 2020. And
way back.
yeah. And follows two friends who go on vacation together to one of the friends' lake house or cabin or whatever. And
her family's lake house.
Yeah, I don't know, is it grandpa's?
I think it's grandpa's.
I think it's grandpa's lake house. And they go just to kind of get away from the craziness of the pandemic. And a guy comes along and basically invites himself to their little getaway.
He knew him though.
Yeah, but he knew him. But he came to spend time with her, try to get, I guess, a relationship started, and confront her about a video that he had saw. And then, as we know, the killer shows up, and you're gonna have to play. Pause. You played it too long, honey.
No, it's not that. It's just one of the mods I have on my glitches.
But anyways, sorry. Killer shows up and starts attacking them. So first off, not very surprisingly, this movie is very. You get a lot of aspects of the Scream movies in this film. A lot of things I felt they definitely pulled from it. Maybe it's just like an homage to Scream.
But they reference bits and pieces of it.
But
like in ways, but
yeah, it definitely pulls a lot from Scream, which was fine with me. I know that. I think that was one of the big things that my wife didn't like about it. I would think.
They pull stuff from Scream. It's just it felt to me. It one felt boring, but it also just felt like a bad quarantine version of Screams. It was in a way, and it was a little. I don't know. I didn't like it that much. It was sort of.
Yeah, like I said, kind of expected it, kind of didn't with her because we differ on the movies quite a bit.
Because I love Scream.
And I was hoping with it being from Kevin Williamson, she may enjoy it, but I know with her reaction when we watched the trailer, I wasn't expecting her to love it. But
I was iffy with the trailer too. I was like, I didn't know what to think. It was weird. I don't know. I don't know.
I think you're just not into the COVID movies.
No, I think that's part of the problem is the quarantine and COVID stuff in the movies have been done so much because we had to do all these movies during COVID. So now I'm like, can we just not? Like, I don't like it.
Well, I've not watched. I mean, we've had movies that's been affected by quarantine.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
but
have,
not
like,
something like this.
And
Host, yes, but I think with what it was with me with Host was we didn't get the quarantine aspect as much in it like we did this one. It felt more like just a kind of like Unfriended or something.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. I just feel like the quarantine thing to me could have been left out, but at the same time, I understand why they sort of needed it for the movie, but I just don't like it.
To me, I enjoy the quarantine aspect of it. I think it worked. I think they gave you multiple levels of characters in this from what we saw during quarantine. So for me, it worked. I like that aspect. It made it different.
That was at least in my issue.
It made it different for me because it gave it that little something extra to sort of separate it apart some from like the Scream movies and making it feel more like the Scream films. But that is something that you'd have to really think, if you've not watched it, to really think about, is if you want to watch them during doing a quarantine type film. But I think the acting was really good from everybody. I think they all played their roles well. One of the friends was kind of your more F COVID kind of thing and kind of doing her own thing, while the other one was more paranoid or just very over excessively trying to, spray and keep the 6 feet apart.
And she was spraying Lysol everywhere.
Yeah. So, which I know some may watch it and be like, well, her character kind of flip-flops because she's okay when at certain scenes being not 6 feet apart and other times not. But for me, I understood that the character because, when you're with like during quarantine with our friends, you don't really worry about that too much when you're with your close friends. But if it's just somebody or strangers, or you're out in the town or whatever, then yeah, you would usually mask up. But
so we're glad that part's over with.
So I definitely understood her character. I think they did a great job showing the different aspects to this, the COVID aspect, the quarantine aspect to it. But yeah, all the performances was really well done in this film. The kills were good. They
especially the one towards the end.
Yeah, one of the ones towards the end was really good. It felt decently original, and the reasoning behind why the killer's doing what he's doing. I know she had an issue with. I didn't have an issue with it because I understood it. I know there was people that would have been there that were like that during the beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand them thinking like being mad, but to go that far, I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, if you're
it's
one,
a little extreme, but at the same time, I understand why they'd be mad, but that's still.
Yeah, so that may take you out of the movie once you find out the reasoning and everything. It may take you out of the film if you think it's too extreme or they're just being too ridiculous. So that might take you out of the film as well. But for me, it worked. I definitely understood it. I could definitely see anybody doing that in a situation that played out. But overall, I just thought this was a very solid film. I thought that they did a really good job. I think it's sort of in a way, a beginner film for if you're trying to get a new person into the Scream franchise, and you want
horror in general, really.
Yeah, or horror. You want to kind of test the waters with something like this, then that's definitely good. Obviously, I'm not saying go show your children this movie, because obviously, no, don't show your children this movie. But if you have like a friend that's not into horror or something, or hasn't seen Scream, let's just say, then this be like a good entry level just to see what they think of it, I think. And maybe if they like that, then show them Scream. But if they don't like that, then maybe show them Scream, but just have to judge by how they react to this movie.
It is high enough budget to where that person is not gonna be like, oh, this is bad, like, all the way around. No. I mean, it's a decent mid-budget to me, like, horror film that I think is good to start out with, but that way you don't have to show them nothing more, like, I guess, gruesome or bloody if you don't want to.
Yeah, I mean, this movie gets pretty positive reviews. I know there's still obviously some that don't like it. But I enjoyed it a lot. I thought for this being a Peacock original. I thought it was done very well. Wrote very well. Shot pretty good. There were some times that the camera work was questionable. Like, I think it was in the beginning scene when he was like running. Was the beginning scene when he was running around and the camera was very like all over the place at the same time. That part I was kind of like iffy with, but for the most part the camera work is good. Lighting's good throughout the whole movie. Nothing real dark or any too dark where you can't see it or nothing, unless you have a glare on the TV from the sun. Then
Yeah,
it may be
I
hard
had
to
like,
see.
flip, like, move my head different positions and my body different positions at times because the glare on the TV. But besides that,
Yeah, but in the end, I gave it a 4 out of 5 for me. I thought, uh, it wasn't a perfect film by any means. It doesn't bring nothing new, obviously, to the genre. It's basically playing off a lot of elements from Scream. So it's not like it's anything original, anything different that we haven't already seen.
no, it's
But
just okay. I mean, it's good. It's a good movie to also just shut your brain off and watch.
yeah, and so I would definitely recommend it if you've not watched it yet. What, you want to tell me your score?
2.5 out of 5.
So she probably wouldn't recommend it unless, at least highly recommend it like I would.
No, I would say just like if you don't know what else to watch or have nothing else to watch. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. This wouldn't be my first choice.
But I believe that's everything. Is you see anything else for it?
No,
Cover everything, I think.
that's it.
Okay. So that is everything for our review of Sick. So please comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified for our videos, and we will see you all in the next one.